When last we spoke, you were hunting for followers of Elganan and Gillenane in hopes of finding specifics. Has your search been successful?
You could say that. It looks like both the Venatori and the Anton are working for Elganan and Gillenane.
Unsurprising. The Venatori want magical secrets, and the Anton want to destroy anyone opposing their brutal expansion. Both will readily bow to anyone who promises them power.
And now, we've seen that power firsthand. The Antam and the Venatori both have dragons doing their bidding.
Dragons? That is worse than I had feared.
Yeah. We drove off the one the Antam brought to Treviso. Barely.
Have you determined how the dragons are being directed? If it is blood magic, it may be possible to disrupt their control.
The dragons were blighted. We think that's what let the gods control them.
The Blight. Of course.
The Blight seems to be the gods' favored tool right now. We ran into Venatori who could control Darkspawn.
Elganan would not bestow such power unless the Darkspawn were to serve as the main force of his army. And I suspect Gillenane will see the Darkspawn as new subjects for her modifications.
We've already run into a few Darkspawn nobody has seen before. That's in addition to the blighted dragons.
That is the fate Elganan and Gillenane planned for this world then. Corruption and blighted slavery.
That's rich, coming from the guy who wanted to drown the world in demons.
Do you truly believe my goal was to destroy this world?
I believe your goal, like you said, was to transfer the gods to a better prison. The one you're stuck in now. And you were willing to tear down the Veil and destroy this world while you did so.
The Veil is a wound I cut into the Fade in a moment of desperation, while making their prison. It should not exist. I had a host of spirits ready to help when the Veil fell. They would have minimized the loss of life.
So, best guess, how many deaths? Hundreds? Thousands?
At least. Those deaths would have been on my conscience. But the world would once again be as it should be.
Oh, and here I was worried.
Many would have died, I know. But afterward, flowers would grow again.
Spoken like a god.
I am not a god. I am as I have always been. A man, all too aware of his failings. But equally aware that if he did not act, accepting the judgment it would bring, all would be lost. They call me the Dread Wolf. What will they call you when this is over?
I've got enough problems right now as it is. That's one for future Rook to deal with.
Pragmatism. You will focus on the present, knowing that someday you will face the consequences of your choices. I believe I can work with that. If the gods are using dragons, you will wish to find someone trained to fight them. Have you unlocked the Lighthouse Illuvian?
Yes, we found the crossroads. It's still confusing, though.
I cannot help you from in here. You may need to find an expert in the magic of the Fade. And if the Darkspawn are to be Elganan's army, you will need Grey Wardens to fight them.
I've got a few of them. Their leaders don't trust me right now, though.
I have faith in you, Rook. You seem to have a knack for gaining the cooperation of your adversaries.
So this elven god thinks we need a dragon hunter and a Fade expert.
He's right, about the dragon hunter at least. The shadow dragons did all they could. The dragon was just too much. The moment the dust settled, the Venatori rushed in. Guess they knew it was coming. Nev's staying for now. She said she'll be back soon. But at least you took care of yours.
We hurt it, but didn't kill it. The dragon flew off before we could put it down.
Treviso could have used a dragon hunter. That much is true.
That's hindsight talking. We didn't know a blighted dragon was coming or that we'd need someone who could take it down.
We should not forget the second dragon in Minrathos. We ought to see what we can do to help. However, there is no telling how long Nev will be helping the shadow dragons with the aftermath.
Hey, let's not get stuck in our regrets, all right?
Hang on a minute.
Not only have you retained the services of a demon assassin, you're also taking advice from the elven god who attempted to tear down the veil.
Spite is my problem.
That's what they always say. Rook, Lucanus is one thing, but do you really trust this Solus?
Of course I don't trust him. He's the only option we have. If it makes you feel better, we've checked every piece of information he gave us.
That does make me feel better.
So, a Fade expert and a dragon hunter. I'll ask around about dragon hunters and see what turns up. Come talk to me in a bit.
And I've been corresponding with someone about the lighthouse's reverberative oscillations and the resulting dimensional peculiarities. Oh, sorry. Not relevant. I'll get a message through to a Fade expert immediately.
See, Rook? Nothing to worry about.
All right. We all know what to do. Let's get going. Okay, Balara. What's your lead on getting us a Fade expert for the team?
Good evening.
Greetings.
Rook, so we need a Fade expert. I've been writing to a senior mage who fits the part. But right now he's on an expedition, so I reached out to his colleagues to find him. This is Lady Myrna and Vorgoth. They're necromancers. Mournwatch ones, I mean.
Your friend's request for a Fade expert was urgent. How darksome are things outside Navarra?
Very.
I see. Balara's correspondent is Professor Emmrich Volkarin, a Fade expert and powerful psychagog.
You will need him.
Where can I find him?
The professor is currently delving the shrouded halls in the Grand Necropolis. We will grant you passage to look for him. Where the dead. Lately they grow restless.
This is it. But no sign of the professor.
I hope he's here and that he doesn't mind us disturbing him. He is a senior necromancer. I don't... Oh!
Visitors! What a marvelous surprise! Any trouble with the lift? Our last guests were stuck for hours. Poor souls. Oh. Professor Emmrich Volkarin of the Mournwatch.
Hello, Professor. We've never met. Well, in person, but I've been writing to you.
Balara, my dear girl. What a pleasure. Surely you didn't come all this way just to see me.
Actually, we did. You see, we need a Fade expert.
I'm Rook.
Charmed.
I liked that bit with the flaming skull.
It's nothing, really. Just an evocation of the flame of the last steps.
That looks great.
Thank you. You know, I'm never quite sure how these spells strike someone from outside Navarra. I'd be pleased to continue our conversation after I tend to some small business here. By seal and flame, who brought despair in our midst? Despair? Who brought it here?
Venatori.
The Venatori. Of course. This...
Emmrich, now what?
Now, the grand necropolis shows itself!
Those despair demons are just gone.
Pretty impressive.
Thank you, but come, let's ensure these cultists didn't leave anything dangerous behind. I'll ask our attendants to gather their bodies later, of course.
And this is a severed hand.
It can't be. A hand of glory? The Venatori should never have this. I must find out where it came from.
I know it's a lot, but I swear we've seen the blighted elven gods ourselves.
It would explain recent Oniric disruptions.
At the least, the implications of what Rook's witnessed are... Ah, thank you, Manfred.
No one ever brings me tea after a slog through a haunted crypt.
My assistant, Manfred. Always thoughtful.
You spoke of danger to the Fade.
The elven gods plan to tear it wide open to get to the blight. And they've already messed with it. Demons, tears in reality. Our team needs a Fade expert.
Many Watchers never depart Navarra. But with events so dire...
I'd be delighted to assist.
It has been many years since you left us.
Well, yes, but elven gods, ancient magics. I couldn't bear miss this. Besides, I've spent my life exploring the Fade and speaking to spirits. If Rook needs an expert, none are better qualified than I.
Only if your assistant's coming.
Manfred? But of course.
Welcome aboard.
Wonderful. I'll gather my things. Come, Manfred.
The grand necropolis was at peace again, and Emmrich was off to a new adventure. But in Navarra, nothing stays down for long. The Venatori had unearthed something no one should have, and delivered it to the worst possible person. Emmrich's journey would soon bring him face to face with the gloaming lantern.
A third edition of the Unnameable Elements? I didn't even know it had editions.
Oh, it's much improved with the index. Please, borrow it if you'd like.
I'd love to. Oh, Rook, you probably wanted to say hi. Thanks, Professor.
You look moved in.
Just a few essentials. Manfred was a great help with the boxes. What a fascinating place this lighthouse is. What do you make of it?
I think I like it better with a necromancer in the place.
Do you?
Especially one with experience.
I must be sure to live up to expectations.
Did you get the tour yet?
Oh, I've been exploring, but I noticed a few of the others taken aback by Manfred, and I overheard remarks about my skulls. My necromancy won't cause any undue worry, will it?
We're still getting used to one another.
True. And yet...
Give it time. We'll settle in.
Please excuse me. Manfred and I should finish our inventory. Thank you for stopping by. I'm sorry, but I find it completely unnatural.
I don't get why you think cremation's so bad. Everyone outside Navarra burns their dead.
All those lost vessels, fine mansions reduced to ash. Manfred, for instance, how would his wisp have fared if I hadn't given it a body?
What does Manfred understand exactly?
Simple things, but he grows. Spirits of curiosity are voracious learners. The more he experiences, the more sophisticated his conclusions. With guidance, of course.
Where or Who do you get his body from?
There was no single donor. The arms were recovered from a charnel pit. The ribs were a gift from a dear friend. And Manfred's wisp picked out his own skull from some donations. That was quite the day. He's been fine company during my necropolis excursions ever since.
If I say, good to meet you, will he get that?
Manfred's alert to the sentiment, certainly. I encountered him as a wisp in the necropolis years ago. A simple spirit, but so curious. He refused to leave my side.
So, you built a skeleton for the spirit to live in?
Spirits are formed from the emotions and desires of people in the mortal realm. Manfred's wisp came from curiosity. It's these spirits which animate the dead. Their drive revives the corpse, yet the corpse colors their actions. Thus, the eternal question, are undead inhuman spirits puppeting a body, or does some shade of the departed return?
It's got to bring back a little peace, at least.
That's my belief as well. I swear I could see it sometimes, Rook. A glint of recognition of something more in the dead.
Hey, that's my sleeve. Are you trying to steal my buttons?
As well as a certain mischievousness. Manfred. How thoughtful, Rook.
No, I know. It doesn't make any sense, but it works.
Wouldn't the connection to the lyrium cause...
The veil to rupture? Not if you're careful. Really, really careful.
Rook, good to see you. Belara was telling me about one of the artifacts she calmed. Her manipulation of the Hylic spheres put some circle mages I know to shame.
Oh, that's so nice. Really?
Belara, repairing the Illuvian network alone is worth a thesis.
You were here, what, 5 minutes? And you had that thing fixed?
And it's quite a complex mechanism.
Well, thank you.
That said, I've noticed you working at all hours on that artifact.
Really? I don't think it's all hours.
And you're either the first to wake, or you simply aren't sleeping some nights.
Thank you, Professor, but I'm fine. Mostly.
That was really reassuring until mostly.
In between the two? It's hard. I've never had a chance like this kind of access to knowledge. It's Solas's old home. I want to learn as much as I can.
And we've time to learn it. But in order to do that, you must take care of yourself.
Not that Solus should be any kind of example, but even he slept. You can too.
Sometimes I can't. Fall asleep, I mean, my thoughts get in the way.
Perhaps I can help.
With sleeping?
Yes, I can teach you some breathing exercises, the ones we show initiates.
Oh, that's very nice, thank you.
Of course. We must look out for one another.
And thank you too, Rook.
Anytime.
Okay, I am going to relax right away. But first, I had another question.
I thought you might. You call Manfred Fred?
Sure. He walked into my office. I said, Fred, can I call you Fred? He nodded. Seemed happy about it. If he doesn't like it...
Oh, Manfred doesn't mind. He quite likes you. Does the diminutive imply a certain level of comfort with the necromantic arts?
It shows a certain level of comfort with your friend. The rest of it, well, that depends.
On what?
On what the mage using it is up to.
Okay, that's enough. Quiet now. Fine. Who wants a treat?
Me, I want one.
Well, I don't have any.
No, why'd you get my hopes up?
A little white lie to quell the riot.
Are you sure it's little to them? Yeah, Davrin, where's my treat?
Come on, guys, give me a break. Rook?
Guys, Davrin's really tired. Trying to fight archdemons and evil gods. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Sorry.
Wait, you can't just leave me with the...
Good luck with that.
Rook, interested in visiting the Memorial Gardens?
What are you up to?
I must tend to some rites in the necropolis. It should be peaceful and quite undisturbed. You'd be most welcome company. Thank you again for coming. My duties include tending to these rites of remembrance. Excellent. Manfred found his way down. Very good, Manfred.
He sounds excited.
I thought we'd start the rites here. A tableau of the dead, commissioned 173 years ago. These lives were flickers against the ages, precious, fragile, and finite. Now they serve as a warning. Don't linger overlong in the gloom. Live with grace and fervor while you may.
It's like being in a very, very specialized museum.
Yes, but the purpose of the tableau...
Wait, did one just move?
That one's livelier. Here. Who were you when you breathed above?
This body was a tailor's, a mother's. She laughed and taught and wove the robes kings wore when they were crowned.
Tch, someone must realign her thoracic vertebrae. I hope the novices are inspecting the displays.
Seems disrespectful to abandon something you built.
Precisely. No wonder there's been an uptick in hauntings.
Wait, what?
Let's continue. Aha! One of my favorite flowers! A variegated weeping widower.
You know your plants.
Alchemy is my hobby. It's a break from teaching spirit calling and theoretical applied metaphysics.
Right. Just on the side.
Open your hearts to the final day, companion of all the ages. I was pleasantly surprised by your respect for our undead tableau earlier, Rook. I'm beginning to think people outside Navarra find the necropolis a little unnerving.
Well, veil jumpers appreciate the importance of history.
Ah, look here.
Hi? Should I say hi?
It's curious about you. We're also enjoying the gardens, but with one last ritual ahead. On your way, my friend.
Spirits really are your specialty.
I've always had a rapport with them. Even as a child, they were my companions.
After you started training here?
After I was orphaned.
Oh.
A collapsed building, swift deaths. After the funeral, the Watchers took me in.
Belated condolences, if that's worth anything.
Always. We move on, as we must, but those long nights linger about the shadows.
How did you deal with it?
I didn't. When I first arrived here, I was terrified.
And you still joined the Watchers.
They're what saved me. Let the rites be acknowledged. Our bonds seen and sealed. We honor the listening spirits.
Hail from the abyss.
We witness, good Watcher, faith kept in all our paths.
What was...
The necropolis hosts many spirits. We thank these guardians for their protection and friendship.
So you were really afraid of this place as a child?
It wasn't the necropolis itself, but what was draped around it. Have you ever been frightened by the thought of dying, Rook?
Hasn't everyone from time to time?
When I was younger, it happened more often than that. That's when I discovered I possess a great terror of dying. It goes beyond dread. Can't be reasoned with or soothed over. It comes without warning. In the dead of night, sunlit streets, a raw, strangling fear struck somewhere deep past the heart.
That's an issue for a necromancer.
Oddly, I discovered I wasn't alone. I debated this fear with friends. I argued with teachers. Yet, it lingered. Manfred's right. That's maudlin enough. There are struggles, but a Watcher should always find peace amongst the graves. And what sort of host would I be if we didn't end with some light refreshment?
Did you set all this up to make a good impression?
Of course not. I was only...
Because it's working.
Then it's my pleasure to share the tranquility of this place with you. With all my regards. Oh, but I don't want them to think me homesick.
Hi, Emmrich.
Rook, hello. Just composing a few letters. The other Watchers have been most interested in our adventures.
I couldn't help overhearing the word homesick.
Oh, I'm fine. Completely absorbed in our venture. But if I were home, I'd be preparing for new students or requests to speak to the dead.
Can people just ask you to show up for some corpse whispering?
Oh, nothing official. There are very few of us, but we help here and there. Questioning a victim of murder, clearing up disputed wills, and sometimes fetching back last words from a loved one.
You didn't stop teaching just to be with us, did you?
I'm long overdue for a sabbatical. Besides, do you know how many students the faculty wanted in my class next season? 10! How's one meant to tailor separate lessons for 10 pupils at a time? Honestly.
You can get anything out of the dead and they just let you leave Navarra?
My gift has limitations. The dead only know what they did in life. What was clear under the sun is sometimes blurred when I revive them.
Makes sense.
Honestly, some conversations aren't worth the trouble. Death encourages obstinacy.
Good to chat. I'll let you get back to your letter.
Before you go, I wanted to thank you for your company in the Memorial Gardens. There's another ceremony I have to perform there. If you'd like to visit again. Not yet, but soon.
You know I can't turn down spending more time with you.
How lovely to hear you say so. I'll always be glad to show you around the tombs, my dear. At your pleasure.
I'll take you up on that.
Wonderful. Until then. I can't believe you're asking for a favor as though nothing's happened.
What crapped in your bed?
Sorry. Didn't know you two were in the middle
Rook! Excellent. Come in. We could use a second sober voice.
I'm not drunk. You're drunk.
It's a figure of speech.
Huh. I was wondering when this had happened.
I don't follow.
You two didn't seem to be bonding.
I need one of these little needle things to dig some crap out of my armor. Death Mage won't give me one.
First, a bone threader is an extremely delicate instrument. Second, it's Emmrich. Tash, my name is Emmrich, not Death Mage, not Corpse Guy, not... I won't repeat the rest.
What? You are a Death Mage.
Why are all my attempts to converse with you met with scorn? What have I done to you, Tash?
You talk about corpses too much.
It's a rich topic.
No, corpses are messed up. They used to have people in them. You make them move like they're alive, but they smell wrong and they move wrong, and none of it is okay.
Oh.
Especially the ones with skin still on them.
Look, you two may never be best friends.
Nope.
But maybe we can aim for getting along.
I'd no idea necromancy upset you so deeply, Tosh. Quite honestly, I didn't think you feared anything.
I don't. But I could have said it was bugging me. I didn't think you cared what I thought.
Of course I do. We're colleagues on this journey.
Okay. Sorry I called you a liker. Skull liker.
You two could still learn things together you'd never find out alone. Emmrich, you clearly find talking about dragons boring.
What? How? Who doesn't like dragons?
Aren't you curious why Tash likes them as much as you like necromancy?
The question crossed my mind.
And maybe Emmrich could help demystify magic, Tash.
Maybe he could share a little, so I know how to deal with walking corpses next time I'm in an old ruin.
I'd be happy to.
Thought you might be. Hi, Emmrich. You've got a guest.
Ah, Rook. You remember the Hand of Glory?
Hard to forget. You figure out what those Venatori who broke into the necropolis were doing with it.
The hand is how they broke in. The simpler undead are blind to its bearer when its tapers are lit. Sadly, only a death mage could have provided them with this forbidden necromancy.
If they're helping the Venatori, that has to stop.
Agreed. I've made some inquiries. This man is one of the death mage's victims. If he knows where this rogue necromancer is hiding, my corpse whispering will give us the answer.
Floor's all yours.
It shouldn't take long. I must warn you, it will be harder to coax answers from this poor man than from the dead I spoke to in the necropolis. Let flame rekindle your sight. Let breath and light rise again.
Who did this to you?
Eyes hidden, dust and gold.
Give us a name.
They come for this one. The spirits shriek. They come.
A name?
Blackthorn.
Return to your rest.
Not a flinch. You really know what you're doing.
Experience is the greatest teacher, and an open heart to what the spirits need.
I bet not every necromancer looks so dapper when they're working, though.
You choose the most extraordinary moments for compliments.
Is that bad?
Quite the opposite.
Back to the topic. Does Blackthorn mean anything to you?
Blackthorn Manor is an abandoned country house outside Navarra City. Our victim mentioned spirits. If they've also fallen prey to forbidden magic, they'll need our help as well. Let's depart for Blackthorn when you're ready. I'd like to speak to the necromancer behind all this.
So, Blackthorn Manor. Let's hope that necromancer working with the Venatori is around.
There's a malaise amongst the spirits here. Some form of confinement. This must be the place.
Right. So why'd we bring that?
Oh, it's essential we have the Hand of Glory.
I'm just grateful you know what to do with it.
It's a fascinating piece. The magic laid upon a Hand of Glory is complex. Whoever killed its donor left their mark.
So it'll lead us to whoever cut it off?
Precisely. Most likely the necromancer who's been helping the Venatori. It would have taken extraordinary skill to layer the involutions on this artifact. What a waste of talent.
I like how passionate you are about your work.
Death is one of the primordial forces. It breaks bonds as it lays the ground for the new. At times, there's something stirring about the elegance of it.
That's quite a way of putting things.
I always choose my words carefully. Forbidden necromancy can twist spirits. We must find this death mage and stop whatever they've done to them.
Late as always, Professor.
It can't be.
But what else would one expect from Navarra's most eminent meddler?
Johanna Hesenkos.
You've met?
Oh, the Professor and I have known each other for ages. But only one of us realized the Watchers are no place for a mage with ambition.
She's just trying to needle you.
Johanna always did make a sport of it.
Resentful prattling from the one left behind.
No. The stone knife in that lantern could permanently tear open the Fade here.
Correct. Only the foolhardy would shed blood near it in this state. So, let the Watchers mourn your pathetic death in the Fade, Emmrich Volkaren. Those that are left after my return. So you crawled your way out of the Fade.
It's not difficult for those who treat spirits better than tools to an end, Johanna.
Sentimental drivel. You may have stopped my work here, but Navarra City will know its new ruler.
What? You gonna lecture us to death now?
I'll not explain myself to one of Volkaren's hangers-on. Though the professor clearly avoided mentioning his old colleague in exile.
We made every attempt to bring you to reason.
I gave you every chance to join me instead of whining endlessly about your mortality. But I must thank you for returning something dear to me. Lovely to have my hand back. I'd exchanged it with the Venatori for some favors after entering this condition.
Johanna, what have you done?
What you never had the courage to.
Oh, the Song of the Chambers won't have anything on what Johanna's... Perhaps the Waking Scrolls? No. Manfred, have you seen the Fellmarch manuscripts?
You and Manfred need an extra pair of eyes for... whatever this is?
I suppose it's time I explained this mess. Johanna Hesenkos was a watcher. She was banished for embracing the darker paths of our art. Forbidden magic, blood sacrifice, nothing is beyond her if it leads to power, recognition, or both.
It sounded like you knew her before all that.
We were friends, once.
If it helps, you've got someone who cares right next to you.
That's very dear of you, but I'll be fine.
It's so cute how you're such a bad liar.
Things used to be much better between Johanna and me. She truly was brilliant, and we got on so well as students. We partnered on papers, rituals, research. Yet even then, Johanna considered the Watcher's oaths quaint. This isn't the first time we've crossed paths since she was exiled, but now I fear she's turned herself partly undead.
Even after what she's done, I feel a little bad for her.
Well, undeath isn't always a disadvantage. But yes, you saw Johanna's Lantern of Unwilling Souls. A necromancer could create monstrous undead with that much stolen life.
Hesenkos was yelling a lot about conquering Navarra City.
We must stop her, Rook. Thank you, Manfred. Quite right. The Order's knowledge will see us through.
Hesenkos had been stopped. For now. But she had big plans for Navarra. City conquering, new ruler plans. And while she had some regrets about long-lost friendships, she knew her greatest invention was going to bring down the house.
Now, what do you have to say for yourself?
Did I miss something?
Since we're here to gather flowers for the dead, I thought I'd teach Manfred some plant names. But I just caught him attempting to wade into a rose bush.
Emmrich, how could you stay annoyed at that face? Skull.
Oh, Manfred. Whatever will happen to you if I pass on?
If?
Ah, there's something I'd like to talk about. Do you know what a lich is, Rook?
Doesn't ring a bell.
A lich is a mage transformed into one of the undead while retaining their true, original consciousness. The idea fascinated me when I was younger. For years, I researched and experimented, spoke with spirits and mages. Then, eventually, I found found them.
Who?
The Lich Lords of the Grand Necropolis. Necromancers before me who'd transformed themselves into true living dead.
Well, not everyone gets to meet their idols.
Oh, but I was nervous. The Liches are the great protectors of the necropolis, bulwarks against forces that threaten creation. After years of tests and rituals, they granted me my desire, the right to attempt lichdom.
Hold on. If you become a lich, then all this flirting we've been doing...
I should hate to lose your company while I'm still mortal.
What would you being a lich be like?
A vast leap. Flesh cast aside for bone, returned immortal for all time.
And you'd be a powerful, undead mage with secrets beyond mortal understanding?
A cherished desire.
That's perfect.
Oh, I'd inform you before making any decisions to... Well, questions of lichdom are... Lichdom is an incredible honor. Immortality, prestige, the most hallowed ranks of the Watchers, as well as a chance to be of service past my allotted years. But there are considerations. Come, we have flowers to gather for the dead. Blue creepvine, this will do nicely. Moon blossoms, famed in verse and song.
Smells like perfume. Do liches have a sense of smell?
I've been told that while some of my senses will dull, others will become available. Other than that, I can't say if the flowers would still hold their bloom for me.
So, what's holding you back from lichdom?
Even with all my preparations, there's a chance I could die, permanently, during the rites. What cowardice! A promise of immortality, an end to all my fears, and the final veil stays my hand.
If you want lichdom that badly, you have to go for it.
I always thought I'd find the courage when I grew older. Traditionally, candidates for lichdom face one final sifting of the soul. If they avoid it, you saw my old colleague.
Hezenkos. She's a lich.
A half-lich, though that hasn't diminished her powers. Until I stop her plans, I won't possess the peace of mind for lichdom. Here we are.
Oh, so these flowers are for...
Yes. If you could place them on the graves, please.
In memory of Rupert and Eleonora Volcarin, they walk eternity hand in hand.
After I became a Watcher, I erected a proper shrine to my parents. When I come to talk, I like to think they listen. Well, don't be shy. Introduce yourself.
Rook, it's a pleasure. Do you remember your parents?
Some memories are bright. Others are akin to those dim early morning dreams one gets sometimes. Lately, I wondered what they'd think of our current course, the choices ahead.
Your lichdom.
What would they have wanted me to be?
Happy with someone who cares for you.
Shroud's Kiss. I've always loved the legend around this flower. They say it grows on lovers' graves, and that one moves closer to the Fade simply by inhaling its fragrance.
Is that true?
It is when I will it, my dear.
What else?
What a day of unexpected splendor. How did you find everything?
Best meal I've had in a graveyard.
One advantage of being senior staff is requisitioning the kitchen's better cooks.
You did that just for me?
I'd hoped the evening might impress. The amount of work on you worries me, Rook. Responsibility exacts a toll on the body.
I have been more tired lately.
More so than you might even realize. I do ask that you at least avoid putting pressure on that stiff left wrist.
It's a little stiff. Impressed you spotted it.
Well, I am familiar with the finer points of anatomy. It's good we made time for this. A couple should get to know one another in comfort.
Time to dig into our feelings?
I'd be delighted if the mood moves you.
Devastating charm aside, what do you like about me?
Apart from the compliment of your interest?
Come on.
Darling, it's gratifying a fresh-faced adventurer noticed me at all. And your spirit does charm, but there's also something quite indomitable about you, Rook. It inspires.
Oh, thanks. What's your favorite color?
Well, can I only choose one?
Let me guess. Black? Green? Yellow, but like a bone yellow?
Lilac.
Ah, of course you went to a flower.
It's such a pretty shade of purple. It brings thoughts of spring. And what's your favorite shade of color?
It's white.
White's not a color.
Fine, it's my favorite non-color. White like fresh snow or lilies or the moon.
Well, the imagery is lovely.
Anyway, should we enjoy the garden?
Certainly. They're wondering what we're up to. Wisps are ever attracted to the gardens.
Like you?
The Fade is close here. As are spirits I count as guides and friends. Beyond that, I feel there are mysteries past our comprehension. Something beyond the weft of magic or deepest Fade. When I'm fortunate, I spy suggestions of them here.
You're so philosophical around flowers.
It's the purpose of the gardens, to lift our thoughts to something higher and finer than we are.
Like that?
Sometimes, my dear, I think you indulge me.
When I'm in the mood.
Oh my! A body from the house of the Verheims, prepared during the Storm Age.
You're adorable when you get excited about things like this.
Well, who wouldn't be, darling? Such a rare find.
Time to find Hezenkos. He's all yours, Emmrich.
By flame and seal, by light and flood, open your eyes once more.
Who dares disturb?
Friends to the dead.
Friends, this one was abandoned, lost.
Emmrich, it's getting noisy.
He's unusually obstinate. Speak! Where is Hezenkos?
Prove yourselves. What claim have you to the deceased? A willing dead companion. This one concedes. Hezenkos makes a thing that should not be. Red tapestry. Look there.
Rook, did you hear that? Manfred just...
I know. Also, we should move.
Oh, he can talk. Manfred, say something else. Come now, you just spoke.
We have to go.
Yes, yes.
There's the lantern. You gonna free the spirits inside?
We must, before we can destroy it.
Like back when you were freeing those spirits Hezenkos trapped in the manor? That took a lot out of you.
I must try, Rook.
Emmrich?
There are too many trapped spirits. I'm sorry. I can't. Another lash of power might end me.
What's that, Volkaren? Afraid to chance death for your precious spirits? For all your fine words on the subject, only I had the courage to risk my life for our art.
He's still got twice your backbone.
I see Volkaren somehow did net himself a paramour.
Johanna! Listen to me! You're right. I've never overcome fear of that final dark. I miss having a friend that could.
Yes. Always the idealist.
I'm sorry Lichdom failed you. I swear I would have helped you had you come to me. But puppeting this creature...
Puppet? Puppet? Do you think I'm staying a failed lich? I won't command my greatest creation! I will become it! Colleagues, interfering Templars, inept rivals, you all have a place in my heart. And tonight you will fuel my ascension at the cost of your miserable lives.
Move! This isn't working. Can't break the lantern.
You think I'd leave myself vulnerable to you? Enough playing! Your pointless lives will fuel my triumph!
I can't breathe. She's draining life from us. We must find shelter.
Right. You can't free the spirits in that lantern?
It might kill me and not even work. No living thing can approach it and... Manfred! Come back!
Any last words, Valkaren, before I... You miserable little...
Manfred!
Manfred knew you could do this. So do I.
By the spirits bound here, night and shadow, light and blood.
What are you doing?
Let your chains loosen. Let the Fade draw close.
You'll never succeed, you old fool!
I release you to the air.
No! You small-minded...
Emmrich, how's Manfred holding together?
We must go to the necropolis. His body could only take so much. But I underestimated him, Rook. What bravery in the heart of the dead. And how he grew. Manfred disobeyed me beautifully. He was his own soul at the end.
Can you bring him back?
I will ask.
Emmrich Valkaren. You were not expected so soon.
If I can do anything to help...
Thank you. But this must come from me. My lord, I come regarding Manfred, my fallen companion.
Yes, there are ways to return his spirit. But should you do this, Lichdom falls from your grasp.
What? Why?
Lichdom is long. If I'm to stand outside death, I must make peace with others passing through it.
What would we otherwise become? How many exceptions till tyranny? Revive him and remain mortal. Or let him slumber and join us.
Emmrich.
Manfred chose to help us. Am I too weak to accept his well-earned rest? I yearn for Lichdom, Rook. That leap into something greater, that everlasting light. Do I revive him and live out my days? Or do I honor death by letting him rest and protect this world through immortality?
Mortality's a hard price, but you'd miss Manfred.
Oh, of course I would. But a Watcher should be more accepting of loss, of grief, of his own death in turn.
You're braver than you know, Emmrich. You've always risked your life. Against Hezenkos, against the gods.
Death's abyss always recedes with someone to brave it for.
I think facing a lot of things would be easier if Manfred was back.
Oh, he was fearless. He has so much potential, Rook. So far to grow.
Then help him do it.
You're absolutely right. I'll need your help. Rest easy, Manfred. We'll soon have you back amongst the living.
Okay, Emmrich. How's this work?
We'll need assistance finding Manfred's wisp and drawing it back into his body. By pact and pledge, I seek an audience. By light and breath, let wisdom come. You've met these spirits before, but I've never properly introduced you. Rook, allow me to present two Necropolis guardians, the keepsake of ages and far-sighted curio.
Thank you both very much for helping with Manfred.
How polite. How fine.
Good manners in mortal kind, beyond the spirit callers at last.
Friends, my assistant, my ward, Manfred, sacrificed himself to save us.
We'd heard you'd abandoned Lichdom to bring him back. Your work, your dreams.
You paid the price. But it seems there are many flickers of curiosity in the Fade.
And only one you seek. Draw his wisp near. Speak.
Can I help?
Yes, please. Think of Manfred. Tell me something you felt about him. Concentrate.
He was always excited to be around you, Emmrich. If spirits can learn to love, he loved you.
In the sea of the Fade, there are wakes left by our passing. Our desires, our fears. I leave this beacon for you, Manfred. Follow my voice. Return to me, please. Manfred?
It worked.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful indeed.
Thanks for stitching that seam on my coat, Fred. It was coming loose. And nice new threads yourself.
Thank you. Yes, we needed something to mark him as an apprentice around the Necropolis.
It's a good fit. See you around.
Yes!
How you doing, Manfred?
Alive! He's excited for his training. Manfred's spellcraft is coming along nicely, more or less. Some undead have the potential to cast magic. I believe his was unlocked by his journey through the Fade.
Ah, what was that like?
Dunno. You mean you don't know? Dunno. We must work on that enunciation. Why don't you fetch the primer?
Ah, there goes our magic-flinging skeleton son.
Well, I wouldn't go so far. Certainly I've a responsibility to educate him, and he'll need moral guidance. Most spirits do. But did you know, yesterday he said the most amusing thing while...
He's got your eyes.
As he grows, Manfred will better learn to take care of himself. I won't worry so much when I pass on.
How do you feel about that last part?
I have moments of regret for what Lichdom might have been. But none would make me exchange this for anything. Darling, I'm just finishing reviewing my bequeathments. It made me consider a topic I must broach. The eve before we kill a god, my thoughts turn to mortality and what we are to each other.
All right.
Even under the best circumstances, you will outlive me, Rook. You've grown to mean much to me, and I care for you, Rook. Deeply. But there are such years between us, I shouldn't heap you with that burden.
You're breaking my heart by worrying.
Darling, I only wish to be fair to you.
I know what I'm getting into.
At your age?
Oh, don't start.
We must consider this.
You're overthinking it, and it's not the time.
One of us needs to consider my mortality.
Because you're worried about me or insecure about you? Look, let's pack. Eat before we face a god, right?
As you say. Don't start.
Your courage is laudable.
Soulless.
But mortals cannot win this battle. I am sorry it is what must be.
I saved you, Rook. What was the point? You were never up to it.
You're worthless.
Varric never believed you were not leader.
You failed us all.
What failure cuts your conscience now, I wonder?
Nev.
Blood on your hands.
Your friend is dead.
Dead and gone.
Your fault.
Regret, like all emotions, is a powerful thing. It can bruise us, break us, or blind us to the truth. Regret is even strong enough to serve as the lock on a prison built to hold gods. But such a prison can hold any captive. Even you. You were never ready to make the sacrifices that leadership requires. So through our connection, I molded you into someone the prison would accept in my place.
Varric.
Your work is done.
Come on, Varric. We didn't come all this way just to talk to him.
He was my friend, Rook. I gotta try to reach him. And if he won't listen to me, then he'll hear from Bianca. You need to listen!
Varric! Varric! Nev!
Let's go! This way!
Solus killed you. His friend. You tried to talk to him, to reason with him. When he cut you down.
Pretty sure he didn't mean to.
It doesn't matter. You're still dead.
Yeah. Sorry about that, kid.
You know, I think I knew the truth. Deep down. But I couldn't face it.
Why not?
Because it would mean admitting that I let you die.
Shit. Didn't you learn anything from this place? I made the choice. To talk to him, to try to reach him, even knowing the risks. Because he was my friend. My decision, my sacrifice. And you don't get to take that from me.
But
every story's got an ending. This one just came a little earlier than I planned.
all this time, Harding and Nev, why didn't anyone tell me?
They thought you knew. You're the only one that wasn't in on it.
But they talked to you, I remember.
Nope. They talked to you. Or to themselves. You just filled in the blanks. Time to finish this story. Your story. I just know the ending's going to be killer.
What happens now? To you?
I'll disappear. Go back to just being a memory.
Right.
Hey, don't get all misty-eyed on me, okay? I had a good run, and I don't regret a second of it.
What about Solus?
You talked to Mythal. You saw the memories. Solus wants to be a hero. That's who he is, deep down. But it's easier for him to play the villain. Because that means he didn't fail. All the damage he's done, the people he's hurt, it becomes a choice. Remind him who he really is. He might just listen.
So how do I get out of here?
Listen to your team. Like you always do.
This way. It's thinner here.
Better be right.
They're waiting for you. Just take it one step at a time.
Goodbye, Varric. And thank you.
Rook!
Looking forward to seeing how it turns out. I'd say good luck, but you don't need it. You already have everything you need.
There! A light! We've got something. Get ready.
He seized control of the Archon's palace?
While the Magisterium was in full session, only the Venatori seem to have survived.
How were the Shadow Dragons?
Still fighting, last we heard. But Elgernon's blighted the city, and the Venatori have sealed the gates. No one can get in or out.
Even the Minrathous Soluvians went dark. We can't check in with the Shadow Dragons. If it weren't for Solus, they'd already be dead.
Solus?
He got to Minrathous just before the gates were sealed. He saved some civilians and killed some Venatori.
Now, everyone's following Solus, like he's the only one who can save them.
He's using the Shadow Dragons and anyone else he can to give him a clear shot at Elganon. Then he finishes his ritual and the whole world drowns in demons.
He can't hurt Elganon yet. That archdemon makes him invulnerable.
So Solus has to kill it first.
And once that's done, Solus goes for Elganon with the dagger he took from us.
We can't stop Elganon and his archdemon while Solus is out there ready to stab us in the back again.
Solus is not going to be happy when he sees you've escaped from his trap.
He's got the dagger. There's no way to kill Elganon without it.
We did attempt to create a dagger to replace the one Solus took.
It looks similar, even feels similar, but it won't cut through enchantments like the real one does.
So it cannot kill Elganon.
Looks real enough.
But it is not. We don't have the right weapon to take down our target, and we lost too much killing Gillenane. We have no idea where Neve is or what Elganon is doing to her.
And Davron and Hassan are...
I know I'm not the only one who didn't make it off that island. We lost Neve. We lost Davron. So let's remember them. Remember what they sacrificed. And let's honor them by finishing the job. Get a message to anyone who's still out there. Tell them we're gonna stop Elganon, and we need their help to do it. Then fix up your gear and take care of any unfinished business. In the morning, we take back Minrathous.
Darling, are you certain you're all right?
No, but I will be.
Rook, let us send word to all our allies. Your only task for now should be to rest. I hope you're feeling more yourself soon. I'll be back. Rook, dearest, please trust me. I must take you to the necropolis before we confront Elganon.
I trust you, Emmrich.
Thank you, darling.
Did we have to risk visiting the necropolis?
I needed its subtler enchantments to detect what we must know. There's no mark of the cursed Solus left on you. Darling, I thought I'd lost you forever in the Fade.
If you and the others hadn't pulled me out... Know what I kept thinking in the Fade, Emmrich? I wasn't afraid I'd die. I was afraid I'd be there forever.
You're not. You're here with me.
I did have someone to come back to.
Rook? I was going to fetch some breakfast. Would you like anything? Come again?
What time is it?
It's nearly dawn. I've been up for an hour.
Of course you're an early riser.
I like to take my exercise in the morning.
That's nice. Peaceful down here. You could almost pretend nothing's wrong up top.
When I'm with you, it feels as if there isn't.
That's sweet.
I do mean it. Whatever's in store for us, together, my darling. That's how we'll face it.
I know.
Oh, it is purest relief to see us all gathered safe and sound. And Manfred would never forgive me if we returned without Nev. Elganon must fear what we might accomplish once we storm his tower.
We've already killed an archdemon and a god. We can do it again.
While Elganon's magic is fearsome, Solus is our true adversary. He is, however, a former spirit. As such, Solus cannot help but listen to appeals to his nature, his yearning for reflection.
I could try talking him down once I find him.
We should depart soon, dearest. How I wish we were already safely home together. I love you, my darling Rook.
I love you too, Emmrich.
Come what may, I will carry those words with me. I'd no idea we'd be drawn together when we first met. No man alive is more fortunate than I. Speak the word, Rook, and I shall stand by your side.